The Quiet Painter with Odd Socks On, abridged. Originally posted on aworldofpain.co.uk on June the 28th, 2013. Why do people insist on buying balloons for parties in strict colour schemes, fill them up with plain old oxygen and shove them into corners? That is to miss so much of the potential that a balloon offers. They come in a rainbow of colours and become something far more magnificent when filled with helium. And when you're bored of simply looking at a balloon, you can either send it off on its own adventure or breathe it in and make your voice go funny. You can let it go or breathe it in. My sister Katy always found me a bit loud and confrontational, I think. She undoubtedly loved me and was as proud of me as any big sister could be, but I suspect that I was something to be experienced in bursts as opposed to marathons. I would sometimes find her looking at me quizzically, head cocked slightly to one side. When I'd catch her eye, she would most often respond with one of a handful of idiosyncratic phrases. My favourite was always, "Hello, my friend." Sometimes she'd just smile, blink and look away. It's very rare indeed that you meet somebody who can genuinely be called silly. Silly in the sprightly, pixie-ish, ta-da sense of the word. Katy was one such person. It was just lovely to be around, a lightness of character that I struggle to sustain for an hour, let alone a lifetime. Albert Einstein once said that there are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, the other is though everything is a miracle. It won't surprise regular readers of my blog to know which camp I tend to fall into, but there is certainly something to be said for the latter. And Katy managed to see a bit of magic in the most mundane of places. As a painter, she spent her time trying to capture it on canvas. Until you've seen a couple of her pieces up close, you can't quite grasp the scale and skill involved, but my goodness, she had it, and in droves. Quite how she found ways to keep hold of that lightness, even as she was surrounded by the bleakest times imaginable, well, that is a trick I just can't figure out, no matter how many times I run it over in my mind. It is all the more surprising when you know that lightning didn't just strike her down once, but twice. Once before she had fully discovered who she was to be, and a second fatal blow just as she had started to fully bloom. I'm not here to dwell on that stuff. I don't want to peel off that particular sticking plaster here, not yet. I don't buy the whole everything happens for a reason philosophy, I'm afraid. I refuse to believe that tsunamis happen for any other reason than those ascribable to plate tectonic shifts in the deepest parts of the ocean. To believe anything else asks more questions than it can ever provide answers, no matter how innocently phrased. Life's value does not equal length of service. Our obsession as humans is to fret about the length of our life. But just like a balloon, it's all about what you fill it with. So I shall leave you with this. You should never ever judge a balloon by the length of its string. You judge by its colour, by its form and its silliness. Hold it in your hands and marvel at its impossible lightness. Be careful with your balloon, they're easily lost. But know that at some point you need to let it go and watch it spiral away on its own adventure with no idea how it's going to end up. Or else you should crack it open, breathe it in and enjoy doing silly voices. And if you're really lucky, you might just get to do both for a while.